all politics are based.
Waldo is now live streaming Just Chatting Guilty Verdict Fallout, no WW3 though. Join the Discord to send links and suggestions. https discord gg beignet tridix 8. Running a couple of men behind, lost track of time this morning. Running a couple of men behind, lost track of time this morning. Getting started soon. Toss any links to stories or memes into the Discord. Discord. https discord gg beignet tridix 8.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here 2 minutes late. My sincerest apologies. Uh, I just lost track of what I was doing this morning and got a couple of minutes behind, but I'm here now. Hello. How you doing? Hi. Hi. My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel politics with you. How's everybody doing today? I am doing good. It's a nice sunnyish Saturday. It's not too sunny. It's not too cloudy. It's a little medium for me, which is pretty
Cancelled
good.
for being late.
Canceled for being 2 minutes late. You're right. That's true. I'm sorry. I'll just go somewhere and die. Not really. I'm right here. Um. So, how's it going? How's your World War III? My World War III is going really well today. It apparently isn't World War III. I've been looking for World War III all day, all morning, and I haven't found it. Doesn't seem to be happening. I was promised a World War III today because of the Trump guilty verdict. I was promised giant protests. I was promised that the people would be out in the streets and screaming bloody murder.
My World War III was a very dry poop.
Well, I mean that is pretty bad. I mean that's almost a World War III right there, you know. Um, I was I was expecting a whole lot more excitement today, and there's just not any. There's a bunch of people being grumpy and pissy. Very
I survived.
You survived. Well, good news. I was worried about whether or not you were alive as you were typing this in live chat. I do sometimes have a lot of dead people in my chat. That's a thing. I learned it from the Democrats to get dead people to watch your videos, get dead people to subscribe, and get dead people to hop in a chat. So if you're a live person, please hop in a chat. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're feeling, um, and we can feel it all together. If you've got links to fun stories or fun memes, by all means, toss them into the Discord.
Discord. HTTPS Discord GG Beignet Tridix 8.
You can put things in there and tell us what you're feeling, tell us what you're thinking, and we can discuss it like friends. It'll be a good time. Uh, if you've got fun links to stories or Twitter videos or memes or anything like that, put them in there. We'll take a look. And if they are cool, I'll put them up on the screen and we can all share them and have a good time together. If you would like to.
YouTube. HTTPS www.youtubecom at Waldavideos.
Please go there, click the like button, click the thumbs up button, click the subscribe button, click all the buttons, any button. I don't care which one, just any button. Honestly, it helps me out. And you can watch the old videos or you can watch the live streams. All of the live streams, everything that I've ever done is still on that YouTube page. And you can go back there and watch the old news. I guess it's not news anymore, it's olds. You can go there and watch the olds. And then I think we can get started. Let's get started by looking at just the silliest thing. Let, let's look at some silly stuff. Um, this is Joe Brandon. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's kind of a big deal. And he's going to do something that people are going to be upset with. And it's just a thing. Okay, ready? Here we go and go.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir?
Look at
Do you
that.
think the conviction will have an
That uh, is disturbing. He's incredibly old and incredibly old. But that smirk, it's it's silly, it's ridiculous, but I'm glad it's there. Uh, this is a good move. It's so stupid. Eh.
Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
and
We'd love to
then
hear your thoughts, sir.
Should he be on the ballot, sir?
and then he just kind of leaves. So, as you can imagine, the right is taking that video very calmly, very chill. They're just saying, well, it's a facial expression, nothing to worry about. Wrong. No, they think that that's proof. that he did it on purpose, that he was behind the whole scheme. You see, folks, that smirk right there was proof positive that Joe Brandon was responsible for the DOJ witch hunt prosecution, kangaroo court that just happened to Trump, and that's something we can't allow, folks. The smile, that face, proves that we're right. And we've got, where's my guy? Right there. Here we go. President Biden's smirk says it all. This was a politically motivated prosecution.
Guilty smirk.
Guilty smirk. Right. The representative, official, literal, elected official right there, Mr. Mark Green, is saying that that's what proof is. Says, oh, this was a politically motivated prosecution. Facial expressions are now going to be allowed in court, I think, according to this guy, maybe. I don't know. What are we going for here? This doesn't mean anything. He just smiles. Man, there's no
Evidence isn't proof, smirks are.
right. That's the point. Oops, I didn't have it up on screen because I'm dumb and bad at this job. So yeah, Representative Mark Green, specifically right there, says this was a politically motivated prosecution because of the smile, the facial expressions prove our point. Evidence proves your point, Mr. Mark Green. Have you got any? No, you don't. Evidence is a whole thing, and this leads back to me suggesting that Trump's fans are the deranged ones. Trump is deranged, and the people who vote for him and follow him are the ones with a syndrome. Okay, Trump promises to be a dictator on day one, and I'm not supposed to pay attention to that. He says, I'll be a dictator on day one.
All facial expressions are political.
All facial expressions are political. It's true. But all things that are political are not crimes. And so when Donald Trump does things and says things, I'm supposed to ignore those things. The right tells me that I'm over politicizing his words. And when he says he's going to be a dictator on day one, I'm crazy for pointing it out. When he suggests that he's going to deport 15 million people, and it gets bigger every time he says it, 16 million, 17 million, 18 million, the number keeps going up.
All politics are facial expressions.
All politics are facial expressions, yes. When he promises to deport 15 million people, I'm not supposed to pay attention to that. That's just him talking a big game. He's just being a cool guy. He's just being a tough guy, riling up the base, and it's not really going to happen. It's not important. It's not really there. There's nothing to worry about, Waldo. Why are you politicizing everything? Why am I politicizing the words and actions of Donald Trump? But the right is politicizing a facial expression. Honestly, the right gets to politicize smiling faces. Smiling faces are political, but the words and actions of Donald Trump, not political. So yeah, let's read a quote from Mr. Donald Trump. A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Our great founders did not want and would not condone false and fraudulent elections. Donald Trump says that we need to abandon the Constitution temporarily, just for a little bit, so that he can win the election of 2020. Stop listening to the rules, stop paying attention to the law, stop bringing up all the things that are written down, ignore those things so that he can win. And I point that out as dangerous, terrible rhetoric. The words that he says. I'm a crazy person who has Trump derangement syndrome. But I honestly think that he is deranged for saying so. And the people who support him are the ones with the syndrome. I'm just supposed to ignore that and chalk it up as rhetoric that's not important. So, Waldo, that's just tough guy talk. He can't really do it, Waldo. Why are you making a big deal out of it? Well, it is a big deal. You know what's not a big deal? Fucking smirk.
So little diaper baby lost, so that means we tear down the walls for his tantrums.
Right. And when he gets found guilty in a court of law, we tear everything down, we break everything, we throw everything away. The system is broken, it cannot be functioning. And proof of that is in a smirk. Honestly. Biden grins, and it's proof of a crime. Donald Trump commits crimes, and they need to be excused, ignored, and waved away as rhetoric and bluster. But Biden's facial expressions are proof and need to be taken seriously. The words and actions of
Nowhere in the 10 Commandments does it say you can't steal an election.
right, good call. Where's the law says I can't? Um, yeah, Donald Trump's actions and words are to be ignored, but Biden's facial expressions, those are important. Those are proof positive. Those are the things that we need to pay attention to. It irritates me. It drives me nuts that the half our country is going to vote for Donald Trump. Maybe not half, but like 30% or something like that are going to vote for Trump. And they're going to believe the things that he says. They're going to believe the feelings that he has putting forward. His feelings are important, and lawful facts, well, that's not important. The Constitution not a big deal. The laws on the books not a big deal. Ignore those to help Trump's feelings. And that's what just keeps happening over and over and over again. That's what this is. This hurts their feelings. This grin right here hurts their feelings, and they want to break your government because of it. That's it. That's the whole thing. They want to break your government. They want to break your society because their feelings are hurt. Everything is political, and all politics are based on feelings. I mean, it becomes more and more true every day. Let's see. We're going to close the grin. I've had enough of it. Let's keep with the sillies. How about that? Here is, well, let's let that. We can close that. What should we do next? We'll read some sillies, and then we'll look at some sillies too. So let's watch some sillies. What do we got? We got. I don't know if Popog's here, but if you're here, pipe up because I've got a law question for our senior legal analyst. I'll save that for him if he's here. Stephen Miller is melting down, calling for investigations to be opened immediately on Democrats everywhere because he's losing. So here we go. Stephen Miller, huge piece of shit.
You have to get in the game, Republicans. I want every Secretary of State. Are you purging your voting rolls of non-citizens right now? Is every Republican state AG opening investigation?
Purging your voter rolls of non-citizens. There aren't any, Stephen. You made it up. It's not a real thing. You created a boogeyman, and then you go on the news and point at the boogeyman that you made up and tell people to be afraid of it.
Purging your voting rolls of non-citizens right now? Is every Republican state AG opening investigations into voter fraud right now? Is every House...
They already did, and they didn't find any. Stephen Miller, there is no voting fraud. It's not real. It's an imaginary bugbear that lives inside your brain. It's not real.
Committee, controlled by Republicans, using its subpoena power in every way it needs to right now? Is every Republican DA starting every investigation they need to right now? Is every donor off the sidelines and in the game, the big dollar guys, the rich guys, the wealthy guys? Every facet of Republican Party politics and power has to be used right now to go toe to toe with Marxism and beat these communists. That's the task. You have to...
Are you using, he's asking, hey, Republican, are you using the DOJ? Are you using your state apparatus to hurt our opponents? If not, why not? Get in there, start investigating people for nothing, start finding crimes, start inventing crimes, go on fishing trips, go on fishing expeditions to find something that might actually seem or smell or look a little fishy, and then call it a crime. That's what he wants. He's calling for the weaponization of the government against his political opponents. Because he thinks that that's what was done to his side. Donald Trump commits crimes, gets found to have committed them, and they want to break the system. They want every single thing to be torn down. He wants every bit of our country and our world to be destroyed, so that he can feel better. He's very upset about these things. And that slightly, so that's the bad news. Good news, he's getting desperate. That guy seems a bit desperate, doesn't he? He seems a little bit desperate. He seems like he's on a back foot. He seems like he's slightly losing. I suspect that's because he thinks that he is about to lose. Donald Trump has got this guilty verdict. Everybody's heard about it. Everybody's looking at it. And I don't think the polls are going to help him. I don't think it's going to help him in the polls. It's going to make his supporters more excited. But it's going to turn off the independents. It's going to turn off the normies. It's going to turn off the people in the middle. People who weren't decided aren't going to jump over to Joe Biden. No, they're just not going to vote at all. And when they don't, that means Donald Trump won't win. Because the reason they're not voting is because they were thinking about Trump, but now he's a convicted felon, so maybe we won't vote so much. I don't think this is good news for him. The right is telling you they're screaming about how it is actually good news for him. It's great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. He'll go up in polls. He's been found guilty. Well, congratulations for electing him the new president because that guilty verdict is only going to make people vote for him more. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's right. And I think Stephen Miller also knows it's not true and not right because that's why he's calling all cars right now. He's calling on everybody. Get out there and start going to war because we're about to lose. He's riling up the troops because they're in a bad spot. I don't think that they're going to win. He sounds desperate, and I think he knows that they're about to take a dive. The numbers are about to drop. They're about to
They
lose a lot
don't
of
like
stuff.
gays but love them polls.
They hate gays but love polls. It's true. Let's see. So that is a silly. What do we got over here? We've got Jesse Waters, my favorite dummy, and we've got Pastor Mike Johnson. So here's Jesse Waters getting clowned on by his own mother.
My mom is celebrating. She texted me that she was dancing after the verdict, dancing. And then she kept all day sending me 34, 34, 34. Felony counts, Harold. You know exactly what I'm talking about. She's a grandmother. She's a grandmother. Get it together, Mom. Oh, my mom is celebrating. She texted me.
This clown gets clowned on by his own mom. His mom is dunking on him. His mom is giving him grief because she's upset with what he's become. Uh, that's why you're my favorite dummy. Jesse Waters, you are my favorite dummy. Your own mama don't like you that much. That's pretty sad. Let's listen to Pastor Johnson, Pastor Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. See what he has to say. It's probably pretty stupid.
Supreme Court has a duty to step in since this will impact, the election. I know we want to act like he's just a normal guy, but he's a leading presidential candidate. The voters should know what's going to happen here. So what do you see playing out in the legal system?
Well, there's a lot of developments yet to come, but I do believe the Supreme Court should step in. Obviously, this is totally unprecedented, and it's dangerous to our system. I mean, we've all discussed this before, and you all talk about it all the time. This is diminishing the American people's faith in our system of justice itself. And to maintain a republic, you have to have that. People have to believe that justice is fair, that there's equal justice under law. They don't see that right now. And I think that the justices on the court, I know many of them personally, I think they're deeply concerned about that as we are. So I think they'll set this straight, but it's going to take a while. You're right. The process takes a while to play.
Mike Johnson, do you know what's dangerous to our system? When the Speaker of the House says the system doesn't work. You're third in line, Pastor Mike Johnson, and you are telling the American people that the system doesn't work. When it did, the system worked properly and got to the correct outcome, as it should have. And you're here telling everybody, no, it's bad. It came out bad for us, so we're going to break the system. That's dangerous. That's the thing that makes people doubt the system, is when half of our political body is anti-system. Half of our political system is anti-political system. If Republicans lose, it was broken. It doesn't matter what the facts are. It doesn't matter what the answers were. It doesn't matter what the evidence suggests. The evidence says that he did the thing and that the thing was a crime. You don't care about the evidence. You don't care about the facts. You only care about your feelings, Mike Johnson. Feelings, feelings, feelings. He does not care about the facts. The facts do not come out to agree with his predetermined feelings. So he will break the system. He will try to bend the system first to get it to the way he wants with the Supreme Court. Why would they go to the Supreme Court? Because they have 6 conservatives on there. Because he thinks that they will be on Donald Trump's side in this, and they might. There's no guarantee that it goes to the Supreme Court. That's a whole fucking thing. Nobody knows if that's going to go or if they would even take it up, and they probably would. They probably want to. Does it matter? If they took it up, it wouldn't be this year. It would not be before the election. So if the Supreme Court jumps in, they would have to really bend the rules and just go out of their way to go and grab this thing and drag it to them. That would be a change in process and things like that, which they usually don't like to do, but they might. I mean, there's a chance, but I don't think it's a very high chance that they would do so. So what do we got next? Coming up next, the sentencing on the 11th of July. That's a fucking month and a half away, because it's only June now. Yeah, today's June 1st. So then what do we got? Okay, so then that happens. They're going to appeal, obviously. The appeal might take years. So it's not like even if he gets the sentence of house arrest, you have to start that arrest. It'll be pushed back. It'll be deferred because of appeals. If they're smart, they get those appeals done quick, but they won't because that'll take years. The appeals will be going on into 2025, 26, 27, 28. These appeals will keep going into that time frame. It'll be way past the regular election. We will know who the president is for next year before these appeals happen, I think, and that's fine for him. He's assuming that he will win and then make it all go away and put Judge Merchan into custody and force him up to Capitol Hill for trials and imaginary fishing expeditions and show trials and all that shit. That's what they're playing anyway. So let's look at this one. Here we go. Republicans join Trump attacks on justice system and campaign of vengeance after guilty verdict. This is the AP. This is like the boring news. This isn't goobers on Twitter. This is them promising vengeance, Embracing Donald Trump's strategy of blaming the U.S. justice system after his historic guilty verdict, Republicans in Congress are fervently enlisting themselves into a campaign of vengeance and political retribution. Almost no Republican official has stood up to suggest Trump should not be the party's presidential candidate. Of course not. They could. He's technically not the candidate yet. The RNC could say, these are special times, these are special rules, we will elect someone else. We will have a vote at the convention. We'll bring all the important people in, and we'll decide who the candidate is going to be, but it won't be Donald Trump. They could do that. They won't because they're wieners. They are scared to death of Donald Trump and his voters because they're fucking deranged. In fact, any Republican who expressed doubts about Trump's innocence or political viability, including his former hawkish National Security Advisor John Bolton, or top-tier Larry Hogan of Maryland, were instantly bullied by their former president's enforcers and told to leave the party. It is the Trump party. It is not the Republican Party anymore. It is the party of Trump. You are on his side or you are out. There is no third option. Maytag, brilliant as she is, said, I'm voting for Trump, whether he is a free man or a prisoner of the Biden regime. So nobody's surprised by that. She is awful. And she's posting upside down American flags, which is a sign of distress. The system is working properly, and that distresses her. She does not want the system to work properly. Let's see. The swift, strident, and deepening commitment to Trump, despite his felony conviction, shows how fully Republican leaders and lawmakers have been infused with his unfounded grievances of a rigged system and the dangerous conspiracies of a weaponized government into their own attacks on President Joe Biden and the Democrats. Rather than shunning Trump, they will provide Man, this one's really weirdly written. I can't read it. It's not flowing. It doesn't flow very good. The flow of this wrapper is not very good. Rather than shunning Trump's escalating authoritarian language or ensuring they will provide checks and balances on a second Trump term, the Republican senators and representatives are upturning long-standing faith with U.S. governance and setting the stage for what they plan to do if Trump regains power. They're gonna overturn the government. On Friday, let's see, Jim Jordan, huge piece of shit, demanded that prosecutor Elvin Bragg and Matthew Colangelo appear for a June hearing on the weaponization of the federal government at the unprecedented political prosecution of Trump, despite the fact that Biden, as president, has no authority over the state courts of New York. He wants them to appear in a June hearing in D.C. This is what I was talking about. This is what I was saying. Alvin Bragg and that judge are now going to be investigated as hard as they can, as hard as the Republicans can investigate them. They're going to create hearings. They're going to make shit up. They're going to start sending out subpoenas for these judges, for these attorneys, for these district attorneys to show up in D.C. and bring proof that they didn't do anything wrong. They're going to have to prove the negative. Prove to Jim Jordan that you did not break any laws. Prove to James Comer that you did not do anything wrong. And guess what? Comer and they'll be under oath. Alvin Bragg and that Judge Mershon will be under oath. Comer and Jim Jordan will not be. They will just make shit up. Maytag will not be under oath. She'll be on the other side of that, lying her ass off, lying directly to you, directly into the camera about what these people did. Because that's the plan. The allegation is all that matters. Doesn't matter what the facts are. Doesn't matter what the evidence says. Doesn't matter what the witnesses say. Doesn't matter what the jury decided. Allegation is all that matters. And they're going to get it. They're going to get those allegations. Maytag, they're going to deploy the Maytag bomb, and she is going to release horseshit just all over these hearings. Alvin Bragg's going to be at a hearing under oath saying true things, and she's going to be spitting nonsense constantly. And that's what's going to get reported. That's what we're going to see. That's what the normie voters are going to hear. Normal man saying, I didn't do anything wrong. Maytag lying her ass off. Jim Jordan backing her up, making up conspiracy theories. That's the future that we have. That's one side of the entire political spectrum. The Dems are wimps. I know they are. They're not great. They're milquetoast, mediocre, sit completely still, don't rock the boat, don't change the status quo, just maintain, just keep it still. That's not fun, that's not exciting. And it's very hard to vote for them. It is, because they're plain and they're white rice and white bread and a glass of water for dinner. That's boring. There's not a lot going on there. I get it. And the Republicans get to just make things up. It's great. They get to throw around accusations. They get to make up conspiracy theories. They get to be sexy, you know? They get to talk about the evil deep state, the deep state that's coming to get you, all the horrible things that are going on, all the crooked stuff and all the backroom deals and all that fun stuff. They get to just make stuff up. It's way more exciting. Fiction is always more exciting and fun than nonfiction. I'm suggesting to you that the Democrats are nonfiction and the Republicans are fiction. It's way more exciting. It's way more fun. It gets the people excited. The people want to show up and watch it. I show up and watch it because I like watching their fiction. But I know it's fiction. There's a lot of people who don't. What else we got? What we're gearing up for is if Trump wins, he's going to use the apparatus of the state to target his political opponents, says Jason Stanley. Yes, I think you're correct. That's how fascism works. Sure is. Stanley said history is full of examples of people not believing the rhetoric of authoritarians. Believe what they say, he says. He's literally telling you he's going to use the apparatus of state to target his political opinions. Let's see. What else we got? Trump called the members of his bipartisan House committee that investigated the Jan 6 attack thugs. Yeah, this is old news. A Trump campaign memo contained talking points for Republican lawmakers, suggesting they call this case a sham, hoax, witch hunt, election interference, and lawfare designed by Biden, whom it called crooked. It's not a sham. It wasn't a hoax, wasn't a witch hunt, and it wasn't election interference. but they're going to say it anyway because that's the accusations. Let's see. I thought I had some good ones in here. Let's see. Anything else good in here? As Pastor Johnson, we saw what he had to say. South Dakota Senator John Thune, huge piece of shit, said the case was politically motivated. John Cornyn, who's an idiot, called the verdict a disgrace. Rick Scott of Florida said we must stand up and condemn what he called lawless election interference. Yeah, Rick Scott, not a surprise. Let's see, Susan Collins, she's that middle of the road, sensible Republican they put in front of the camera every now and then, who's known as a bipartisan leader. So the prosecutor brought these charges precisely because of who the defendant was, rather than because of any specified criminal conduct. So she's middle of the road being a Republican. Let's see, Chip Roy, idiot of Texas, said the GOP should move up the convention to speed up Trump's nomination as the party presidential pick, because he recognizes that maybe Trump doesn't win. If the sentencing goes bad on the 11th, that's only a couple of days beforehand.
It's a lot of evidence for non-criminal conduct.
I know. There's an awful lot of evidence, you guys. Chip Roy knows that maybe Trump doesn't win this thing. Maybe the RNC gets cold feet. Republican judicial advocate Mike Davis, and former top Senate aide, mentioned for a future Trump administration position, circulated a letter outlining the next steps. Dear Republicans, he said in a Friday Post, we must respect the process, or we are too principled to retaliate. We are too principled to retaliate. Oh no. He suggested they do two things. One was an expletive, the other, leave the party. What? He's being principled. We must respect the process. We are too principled to retaliate. And if you want to retaliate, you fuck off or leave the party. Okay. They will leave the party. They'll just make a Trump party. It'll be that if you are Republican and you are saying, hey, slow down, chill out, we have to respect the government, we have to respect the judges, they're either going to boot you immediately or they're going to start their own Trump party. And then we'll have a split, damaged, fractured Republican
Well, that
party.
guy doesn't have a future in the GOP.
Right. He either gets dumped and thrown out of the Republican Party, or too many Republicans take his side and abandon Trump, which causes the fracture. So the right wing might be fracturing right now. It might be. Not entirely sure. I think most of them are going to take his side. If there is a fracture, it's 90% backing Trump and 10% fall off. It's more like booting out 10% rather than a split down the middle, which causes a third party to happen. That's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. It seems to me more likely that the sensible ones, the ones who don't want to upend the entire legal system, say, hey, let's be calm, let's chill out, let's relax, don't do anything wrong, and then they get booted. And then the Trumpistans, the trumpets, all boot them out. And so let's see if there's anything else on this one. No, I think that's it for this one. Fact checking, that's a thing liberals do, is they listen to the words that Donald Trump says and then find out if they're true. Seems they're not. As usual, he gave out a pretty crappy little speech yesterday. He claimed this is all done by Biden and his people. No, it wasn't. It was done by, this case was brought by the Manhattan District Attorney, and his office does not work for the Justice Department or any White House office. Let's see. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. Not true. The judge did not bar Smith from testifying. Trump's legal team chose not to call on him. So the defense chose not to do a thing. Donald Trump says we weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. That's not true. You're a liar. They missed the statute of limitations by a lot because this was very old. They could have brought this 7 years ago instead of bringing it up right in the middle of an election. they didn't miss the statute of limitations. Could they have brought it up sooner? Not Probably not, because he was elected the president. You can't bring charges against the president. The Justice Department won't do it. Record levels of terrorists, record levels, the highest level we've ever seen, terrorists pouring into the country. And that's not true either. The 169 people are on the list of terrorists, but that doesn't mean that they are doing terrorism or anything like that. It's not good, but it's still not fucking end of the world kind of shit. This is the crime that I committed, that I'm supposed to go to jail for 187 years for, when you have violent crime all over the city at levels nobody's ever seen before. So the 187 is not correct. It's 136, but New York imposes a maximum of 20 years for consecutive sentences. There's no way he'd get more than 20, even at maximum, which he won't get. And crime is down in New York. Again, Donald Trump does not reality. He is anti-reality. He is not real. The things he says are not connected to facts, logic, or evidence. Crime is actually down. They're falsifying business records. That sounds very bad. You know, it's only a misdemeanor. Nope, it wasn't, because he used that misdemeanor to cover up a different election crime, which makes it a felony. This is about federal election, not a state election. You're not even allowed to look at it. They took the state and the city and they went to a federal election. That's not allowed. Again, this isn't true. It wasn't a federal election. This was a state falsifying business records thing. So the point is, he just keeps saying not true things over and over and over and over and over again. He lies more often than I breathe. He lies 50 times a day. And I apparently have Trump derangement syndrome when I suggest that he's a liar. He lies 50 times a day. And I'm like, hey, that's a fucking lie. Damn it, Waldo, why you got Trump derangement syndrome? If you're supporting Trump right now, you have the syndrome. Trump is deranged, you have a syndrome. That's how it ought to be. That's what makes the most sense. He is not factual. He's not literal. He's not logical. He's not doing things that are real or correct. He's anti-fact. He's all feelings. No, not even feelings. He's just making shit up. Let's see. Okay. Completely changing subjects now because we got all of that out of the way. Got a couple more things that we'll save for later. And let's completely change things. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, press the subscribe button, press the subscribe button, press the thumbs up, press the follow button, press all the buttons, and hop in a chat. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us what you're thinking. Toss any cool stories or memes that you've got into the Discord.
Discord. https discord gg beignet tridix 8.
And tell us what you're feeling. Tell us what you're thinking. Hop in there. Tell us how we could, what you want to talk about, things that are going on. If I missed anything in the news, let me know, and we can feel it all out together. What is this? This is Biden says it's time for this war to end as he lays out Israel's ceasefire proposal. Now, this is actually way too late, but this is some good news. Joe Biden asserted on Friday that Hamas had been degraded to a point where it can no longer carry out the type of attack that launched the current 8-month conflict in Gaza, laying out a 3-phase proposal Israel has submitted to wind down the grinding crisis. As he declared, it's time for this war to end. So, Israel created this plan right here. This plan, this 3-phase proposal for a durable peace in the Middle East. They put this out. Phase 1, a complete ceasefire, a withdrawal of Israel forces from populated areas in Gaza, release of some hostages and some remains of hostages. Palestinian civilians can return to their homes in Gaza, a surge in humanitarian aid. That came from Netanyahu's cabinet. Some of them suggested, here's what we should do, here's our current plan. President Biden got it and released it immediately so that they can't back out of it. This is a bit of a smooth move. This is an actual kind of a chess move. They said, hey, here's a proposed plan. Biden took that proposed plan and said, here is the literal plan that they are going to follow. Now, if they don't do that, they look stupid. If they back out of this, it looks like Israel is backing away from a peace plan. That doesn't make them look good. That makes them look bad. And then Biden can complain about them and say, hey, why aren't you guys following your plan? This is your plan. You're not following it. And he, he can kind of squeeze them a little bit. This is a political move, and it's not an idiotic one. I wish it had happened sooner, and I wish it had happened fucking 8 months ago. But he now has things that he can press on them. He can bend them to his will and end this stuff. Phase 2, a permanent end to hostilities, exchange for the release of remaining living hostages. Israeli forces withdraw from Gaza. Phase 3, major reconstruction plan for Gaza. Final remains of hostages are returned to their families. Okay. It's 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 just words, I know, and it's not specifics on how you would accomplish any of those things. But even having a little bit of a plan is better than what we had before. Netanyahu is against this plan. If I was reading somewhere that he doesn't like this idea, and he actually didn't want this to leak. But now that it's out there and Biden is pushing it and suggesting this is the thing that needs to happen, it might actually happen. So that's good news. I think this is way too late and too slow and not good enough, but it's better than what we had yesterday or on Thursday, you know? At this point, Hamas no longer capable of carrying out the attacks. And Biden says the Israeli proposal was transmitted this week. The first phase would last 6 weeks. Let's see. And Hamas is super on board for this too, because they've just got all their guys died, and maybe they're bad guys and they're lying, and they're going to wait until it gets quiet, and then they're going to bomb some more. Entirely possible. But we would like their civilians not to die anymore. So maybe something happens there. Let's see if we've got that. And then in a completely different subject, Joe Manchin leaves the Democratic Party. After a long career in screwing over the Democrats, Joe Manchin has left the party at last. He's running as an independent for governor. I don't think this changes anything all that much. I think the next senator to his state will be a Republican, not a Democrat. And even the half-assed, middle-of-the-road Democrat that he was won't get elected, and he's going to lose the governor race. So I think he's done. He's out. He's done and over with. And that really is all the politics I have for today. If you've got, oh no, I had one more. Where was it? Where did you go? It's more Trump stuff. Where did you go? I had one more.
Runs as independent and then converts to Republican if he wins.
Well, he's always done Republican things. When he runs as a Democrat, then he does Republican things. He runs as a Democrat, governs like a Republican, but still counts as a Democrat. And then when the Senate votes are 50-50, he chooses to stick with the Republicans, honestly, whenever it benefits him. He benefits himself all the time, nonstop. Then everybody complains about him. Everybody else in the on the Democrat side complains about him, gripes about him, says, hey, why would you not get on board with us? And so now he's finally at the point where, why is this damn thing not working? There it is. Okay. And then oops, wrong button. Yeah, he runs as a Democrat, governs as a Republican. That's what keeps getting him elected, is because he's doing the things they wanted. They don't care if he has a D behind his name. He's doing Republican things, so let's vote for him. Then he leaves the Democrat Party, goes to be an independent. He's going to lose. He's going to fracture the governor race, because the governor race is now going to be a Dem, a Republican, and him as independent. He's going to steal a lot of those votes, and I don't think he's got enough to win. Maybe he's got enough to win, but even then, it's just a Republican. He's splitting the Republican ticket. That's what he's doing. And I don't think that matters in the state as red as he is, though. All right, we're going to listen to a very smart guy, stable genius, tell us something very important. I'm going to adjust the volume as necessary. Let's get him going.
She shouldn't be allowed to run. Okay, she shouldn't. And I'm not talking about what happened last Friday. I'm talking about right now. She shouldn't be allowed to run. When you look at General Cartwright, 4-star general, for doing almost nothing by comparison, could serve 5 years in jail. That happened 2 weeks ago. General Petraeus destroyed their lives for doing nothing by comparison. How about the
They committed crimes, by the way.
young man took pictures of his submarine? He wanted
It's not allowed. They tell you way ahead of time you're not allowed to do that. Nobody in a submarine doesn't know you're not supposed to take photos of those damn things.
to have some pictures. The submarine's not like it's a brand new submarine. It's many years old. They put him in jail for a year. And she does all of these different things. They're also conducting a second criminal investigation into Hillary's illegal pay-for-play corruption at the State Department.
Proved to be nothing. There was nothing there. Never was. Allegations and investigations. Doesn't matter what the facts are. You get to point to the allegation and the investigation for the rest of eternity.
There's virtually no doubt that FBI Director Comey and the great, great special agents of the FBI,
Great special agents of the FBI when they're on his side. When they're investigating Hillary, they're great. When they're investigating Trump, they're criminal.
will be able to collect more than enough evidence to garner indictments against Hillary Clinton and her inner circle, despite her efforts to disparage them and to discredit them.
He sure would hate it if somebody disparaged and discouraged law enforcement. Would be terrible, wouldn't it? Fucking guy.
If she were to win this election, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis. In that situation, we could very well have a sitting president under felony indictment and ultimately a criminal trial.
That would be awful, wouldn't it?
It would grind government to a halt.
We can't, according to Donald Trump, we cannot allow someone who's under criminal investigation to run. According to him, those are his words. We can't allow people who are under criminal investigation to run. But he doesn't care. He doesn't have to be consistent. He doesn't have to be consistent because feelings aren't consistent. You can be mad at something today and then over it tomorrow and they get mad at it again a year from now. Feelings are not consistent and they are the feeling party. He is the feeling individual. It doesn't have to be logical. It doesn't have to be sensical. It doesn't have to connect to reality. It needs only connect to the feelings. So I'm kind of agreeing with him. We should not allow him to run. According to him, he shouldn't be able to run because then he would be under federal investigation. And he's under investigation now and he's got trials upcoming. According to him and his plan, right there, he just said it, he should not be able to run. But he'll just call them crooked. You know, that's how he gets out of it. That's how he weasels out. Yeah, when Hillary isn't allowed to run, that's proper functioning government. And when I'm not allowed to run, that's wrong because the law is to protect him and harm Hillary. Protect him and harm Hillary. That's what the law is. That's why judges exist, to protect him and harm Hillary. That is why the Supreme Court exists, to protect him and harm Hillary. That's the entire ethos. That's their entire plan. That's everything they have going on. Let's see. That is the last thing I have for today. Let me see. And I think, yeah, how long have I been on? About an hour. That's all. I know I came in late and I'm leaving early, but that's about all I've got today. I'm running out of energy. I don't have any fun stuff to look at, and I don't have any. I'm not feeling super jovial today. So what I'm going to do is call it off early, and thank everybody for being here. I appreciate it, Shinsuto. Thanks, KBP, for being there. Thanks for hopping into chat today. And I'll be back on Monday to check some more headlines, play some games on Monday, and I don't know, have I got anything else going on? I don't think so. If you got anything else to think about, if you got anything else to talk about, toss it into the Discord. And that's about all I've got in me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Waldo. Sorry for not being more
No, no,
engaging.
no. You are great. It's that I don't have a whole lot to say. It's the same damn thing over and over again.
Slot.
Political streaming is hard because it tends not to change all that much. So, and I'm not feeling
Slut.
super silly today. Sluts in the slots are, I don't know
A
why
lots.
it's being strange today.
Slots. The result is at KBP 24. Sorry, keep trying. You lost 50 points.
Oh, you didn't put the S that first time. So this one didn't have an S. It's got to be plural. So I appreciate you coming in. Thanks for being here. I'm going to do some work on. Maybe I'll get these things working a little bit better. I'll try and do some work on those this week. And I appreciate it. Thank you. And goodbye.